Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the podcast. And I'm really excited for you to get to know today Dr. Julie Merriman. Welcome, Julie. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you.
Yes, and some people might know Julie from she's got a YouTube channel, and we'll talk about all of the different her books and things that she's done. But Julie, as I start with everyone, tell folks a little bit more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed.
Yeah, there's no straight path. My daddy always told me I did everything the hard way. So I'm a professor and been a counselor for 30 years, and it's just always been on my heart to help others. And through this, as I was working with my interns and my students, I discovered that they'd come in just real perky, like, whoo, gonna tackle the world. And for some reason, I never knew why until I started researching it. About 6 weeks in, they'd just be dragging their legs across the floor like Igors. People
Mm-hmm.
going, "What's happening with y'all?" And that is what piqued my interest to start researching burnout and compassion fatigue, specifically in our profession, the helping professions.
Right,
Um,
right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and through that, I mean, I still have a private practice, but I tend to be a therapist for other therapists,
Mm-hmm.
working with helping us stay in the profession, right? And having a quality of life in the profession. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the short story there.
Right, right. And I know as we were chatting before we started recording, I know one of the things that you are a big proponent of is that and this really resonated for me. I think it's very easy for us to get disconnected from ourselves. And so you want to
Yeah,
say more about that and just yeah, just how you kind of landed on that.
absolutely. And well, it was through my research when I discovered that we don't often know how to receive. And then my own story, when I went through breast cancer last year and I had sweet friends bringing food to the house and I would, we have this helper default. Oh, I'm fine. Really. I don't need anything. And
Mhm.
I had one girlfriend look me in the eyes and go, Julie, would you just let me love you for 5 minutes? And it
Mhm.
struck me in that moment. I've been a bridge for everyone to healing in my career, but I didn't know how to receive that,
Right.
which really led me to research a little bit more. And there's really three disconnections, if you will. We have disconnection from our body, where we're floating heads of competence. We have all sorts of good knowledge, but it's up here. We don't
Mhm.
feel it. And I do a lot of
Mhm.
chakra work. I'm also a yoga instructor with my patients.
Mm.
So I just think it's very important we get embodied and feel what we need to feel. What's that old cliche? You got to feel it to heal it. You got to name it
Right,
to change
right.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, just the simple act of putting your hand over your heart 3 times a day and saying, "What am I actually feeling?" It's very powerful for us in the helping profession.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then there's a disconnection from reciprocal relationships. I mentioned our relationships are often one-way streets. Everyone leans on us, but when it's our turn, we kick to that default. Oh, I'm fine. I don't need anything. And I just don't know when needing become such a sense of failure for us as helpers. So a reconnection there is, just start with a whisper. Could you sit with me for 5 minutes? I just need to fall apart without
Mhm.
being fixed. Don't we
Mhm.
want to fix?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then the last disconnection that really resonates is that disconnection from purpose beyond performance. So much of what we do as helpers is based on performance. And I mean, our worth even becomes connected to that performance piece, which makes that
Mhm.
sacred why disappear. And that's where we lose people, Gordon, in this profession.
Right. Right.
So, really doing some work, and the holidays are coming. I mean, it's a good time to take a few minutes and reassess where we are. Anytime is a good time, but to really reconnect with that sacred why of why we decided to want to help people.
Mhm.
When we become disconnected from that purpose, things kind of feel flat. I tell you what, it leads to burnout, compassion fatigue. I'm just
Right. Right.
convinced it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because as you're speaking about all of this, one of the things that I've really enjoyed delving deeper into over the last several years is, and you're probably familiar with it, is the Enneagram. And
Oh,
one of the things that I think a lot of us in our profession probably fall in the category of an Enneagram 2, which is the helper. And I know that
right.
that's where I am as well. And one of the big faults of twos is that we get so much of our self-worth from helping. Now that's a great thing to aspire to, and it's, it resonates with us. But the like you said, the problem becomes is, like you said, it's a one-way street, and that we're so focused on helping others, we really lose touch with what we actually need and want for ourselves. And I know that's been a big journey for me in my own therapy and my own work, is just really recognizing, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? And then knowing how to receive that and ask for it, and
Yeah.
recognize it. I didn't share this with you, Julie, but I know a lot of people that have listened to my podcast recognize know this about me, is that I went through the caretaking of my wife until she passed away in 2023. And
Wow.
so that was just you talk about losing yourself
Yeah.
in just a helping role, and then trying to maintain a practice, and then being on for people all the time, I think is something that we have to pay attention to. And like you, I think I don't know if you said this after we started recording or not, but just giving yourself permission. I just need to fall apart here. I
Five
just
minutes.
need to, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Because it's unsustainable otherwise. It is
right,
unsustainable. One thing
right.
I didn't mention, when I was going through my breast cancer, my husband's been battling brain cancer. So we had
Oh, wow.
two of us
Yeah,
going through cancer.
yeah,
And that caretaking piece that you mentioned, it's all consuming. It's
yes.
all consuming. And to find a
Mm-hmm,
piece of you that's able to show up for your clients, I mean, it's
mm-hmm.
just, we're human. There's only so much of
Right,
us. And
right.
and to give ourselves more permission to fall apart. Because as you said, I keep myself in therapy. I think I heard you say you keep yourself in
Yeah.
therapy. I
Oh,
think the
absolutely.
therapist must keep ourselves in therapy so
Mm-hmm.
we have a place to fall apart.
Right.
We also need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and fall apart in other places, just in our therapist office.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think yeah, you said something earlier that just I think it really resonates. I think for a lot of us is that we consider ourselves the experts, and using air quotes here. We think that if we can't handle things, or we don't handle things well, then that somehow or another negates the fact that we're an expert, or that we don't know, or we're a failure as a therapist because we can't manage our own stuff. And that's
Right.
such a myth, such a misnomer, and such BS. It's just, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, complete misnomer. In fact, and as I said, I tend to be a therapist for other therapists. And
Hmm.
if I have someone sit in front of me and go, I'm fine. No, everything's fine. That's where my antenna goes up. I'm like,
Hmm.
we've
Right.
got to be honest first with ourselves,
Hmm.
before we can
Yeah.
embrace all these things. Because think what we ask of our clients in our private practice.
Right.
eh,
Right.
How it feels to sit and just let all that emotional rawness come out.
Hmm. Hmm.
We've got to do that for ourselves.
Yes. Yes. So, one of the things I know that you have done some stuff with, Julie, is also helping people kind of get back in touch with kind of the body connection, and
Yes,
knowing what we feel. You know,
yes.
it's kind of a joke, but we usually think of men being ones that can't really get in touch with their feelings. It's just kind of that stereotypical thing, well, what are you feeling? Well, I'm not hungry, I'm not cold, I'm not hot. So I don't, yeah.
Fuzzy.
So what, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So tell us about how you work with people around that, of getting in touch with that part of
I love that
themselves.
question. Because, and that it's very somatic. I do a lot of body scans. As I mentioned, I'm also a yoga instructor, so I bring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not woo woo. It's all scientifically backed. Chakras are real.
Mm-hmm.
We're energy beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I start every session with a full body scan. I want my client to sit quietly. Now, it takes them a hot minute to get used to that. Like, oh, Jules is going to make me do this body scan.
Mm-hmm.
But we start at the crown, from the crown to your eyes to your throat, where we are bottlenecked. We have so many emotions in our throat. I cannot tell you how many times people start crying when they just think about that throat chakra.
Hmm.
That, and I'm not necessarily saying throat chakra. In my mind's eye, I know what I'm measuring.
Right.
Then I have them think about their chest to their upper belly, lower belly, from their sits bones all the way down to their tippy toes, which I've taken them through the seven chakras. If you're a yoga
Hmm.
person, but even if not, those
Hmm.
are energy centers. And that is my effort to start training people to get embodied. And that's their homework assignment. When you're feeling something, and how many times have you been told this? Oh, it's all in my head. No, I mean, we're floating heads of competence, yes, but our
Hmm.
feelings tend to happen in our body. Our thoughts happen in our
Right.
heads. So really, when someone in session has a big emotion, we'll stop and I'll go, okay, now where are you feeling that in your body? And Gordon, it's so foreign to so many people. They can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
fathom that they can feel things in their body.
Right. I know that's something I still struggle with. I mean, even in my own therapy, because yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just, well, you're feeling this feeling, so where in your body are you feeling that? I thought, not really sure a lot of times. Yeah.
Absolutely. That is fair because
Mhm.
we have not been
Mhm.
trained. That is,
Mhm.
I mean, it's, I think instead of algebra, we should have where's your, where your feelings in your
Right.
body. You know?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I would use that. But
Right.
not all the love to math teachers, but we have been trained from from childhood where our parents weren't comfortable with our emotions, so we were taught. Now I was born in '63. I know it's different. It's a different
Mhm.
thing from how my
Mhm.
grandchildren are being raised. But those of
Right.
us that are baby boomers, we were not. Daddy would tell me, "You don't feel that. You're fine. I'll give you something to cry about." So
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I, we were not trained to get into our body and go, okay, were you feeling that? It's okay to have that emotion. So
Mhm.
it's very foreign to go in and really identify those emotions. But I tell you, once we get in touch with that, it's very empowering. I'm because someone can say, well, I'm feeling sad. Oh, or I can think of some clients that have some somatic things going on where their tummy might hurt and they're able to stop and go, now, wait a minute, that's my abandonment issue kicking in my
Mhm.
tummy. So I let
Mhm.
me see what I can do to take care of that for myself. It's very
Right.
powerful to get in tune with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's like you said, it takes work to do
Oh, it
that
takes.
and to learn how to do that. It's a skill. It's really a skill set, I think.
You're absolutely right. And we're building new neural pathways, right? And
Mhm.
there's a new book out. I forget, I want to give her, it's a lady doctor, but it's called 67 Days to Rewire Your Brain. She's done research on this.
Mhm.
Fascinating. We used to think
Mhm.
21 days or we would pull out just some,
Mhm.
it's going to take this long to change that habit. She
Right.
actually has research that shows in 67 days, the new neural pathway is built and those old neural pathways, she's done imaging on the brain, go away. Isn't that
Mm.
amazing?
Interesting. Yeah,
so,
it really
so,
is.
so
Yeah.
67 days to learn how to feel in your body.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, as you think about burnout, what are the other places where we, besides getting in touch with our body and our feelings, what are the other ways in which we maybe can help ourselves more with that?
Sure. Well, there's the, there's and these are very classical, own your calendar, own your worth. I work a lot with my students on this, being afraid to charge the amount they need to live. We've got
Right.
to be able to do that because it's
Mm-hmm.
an insult to our complete profession if we're not charging our worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that can be quite controversial because some folks, well, I'm here to help. How can I charge? But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, we got to feed ourselves. We got to
Right.
have a living wage.
Right.
And owning your calendar, I work whatever it might be, pretend 8 to 5. And I don't answer the phone before 5. I don't answer the phone after 5. I
Mm-hmm.
take my lunch, right? I don't eat at my desk. I go take a lunch, go
Mm-hmm.
outside, get some vitamin D, get myself grounded. Because as you said, many of us are helpers. We want to help. So we give up our lunch, we give up our mornings, we give up our evenings, and we end up resenting our job
Yes.
because we're not
Yes.
holding our boundaries. So I think the essence of that, Gordon, is boundaries. I mean, that's
Right. Yeah.
personal, professional. no is a complete sentence,
Mhm,
not being so often we feel obligated or we do this pretty little dance around a no.
mhm.
People are not
Yeah.
going to like that no any better if you're a negative.
Right. Right. Right.
And it waters
Well,
it
it's
down.
yeah, it's really a total, it's a mindset change, a mindset change. And I was doing some consulting with someone the other day and they were, the whole issue around not charging enough. You know, they,
Yeah.
been fed this line. I don't know if it comes from our training programs or whatever, but that if you're not helping if you charge too much, or you're not helping if you charge it all or whatever. you know
It's crazy.
it's a and I'm all for philanthropic work and charity and all of
Oh,
that sort of thing and helping people in that way. But when it comes to your business, your practice, and what you do, you have to charge, because if you're not making, like you said, not making a living wage, not paying what you're worth, you're not going to be there to help.
no. Yeah, you're so
Yeah.
burned out or so angry about the whole
Mm-hmm.
profession. And we need to, I mean, sometimes I think people just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall and go, oh, I'll charge that. We need to know what our overhead is. We need to know what we need to be bringing. I mean, it needs to be a scientific
Right.
fee
Right.
that's
Yeah.
set, not just, well, everyone else is charging that.
Right. Right.
Oh,
So, yeah. So I just thought of something, this, I think, kind of an interesting way of thinking or whatever. On one hand, we're saying get in touch with your feelings. Yeah, and be aware of what you're feeling and what you're in your body and that sort of thing. But then there's this line, this boundary we need to create of, okay, you need to know your numbers. You need to think about this and not make a decision based on what you feel. And so you want to say more about that?
well, our whole profession is a very interesting blend of science and art. That's
Mm-hmm.
what makes us good therapists. We know our
Mm-hmm.
theories, we conceptualize through those theories, we back it up. But then there's this instinct, that comes
Mm-hmm.
in, and this presence, and so that's the same. I mean, our profession is a very interesting blend of science and art, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you have to do to take care of yourself
Right.
as well.
Uh-huh.
And I think, I mean, because the science part of setting those fees, otherwise you cannot guarantee that you're making what you need to bring
Mm-hmm.
home. And we have
Mm-hmm.
no one but that lady or man in the mirror to blame for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you have to get right with yourself on that and move past the feel. I mean, there's a time to feel, and there's a time to be a business person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's not that very
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it's being able to learn. Again, like you said, I think earlier, I've learned a lot the hard way,
Oh, girl.
and
Oh,
and a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times, if you make too many decisions based on, well, this feels right or whatever, and there's not any data or no, as I like to say all the time, you got to know your numbers. You you will it will spiral out of control. But because I've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt, and so yeah.
yeah. I've got a couple of them, sadly. A couple of those t-shirts.
Right, right.
And you said something a moment ago that triggered something, but it's floated by. It may come back, but we do our clients a disservice if clients need boundaries. We know this. They need boundaries.
Hmm.
They need to know a session is going to start and end on time. They need to know that we wouldn't negotiate with our medical doctor on a fee. I
Mm-mm,
mean,
mm-mm,
that we don't need to be negotiating that either. And if there's this philanthropic piece you want to do, well, then take on one client as a sliding scale. But if your whole
hmm.
business is that, you're not going to be able to buy your kids Christmas or
Right.
really be able to enjoy what you're doing.
No, right,
Um, money. I
right,
mean, sadly, we have to have money to live.
right, right.
And another really important piece about burnout, it's your nervous system regulation. All the polyvagal theories,
Hmm.
well, theory. It's important that we keep our nervous system regulated,
Right.
because when we don't, that's certainly going to kick us into burnout too. I used to just think it was just, we got to have good boundaries and we need to, I don't know, take a bubble bath or whatever, which those are
Hmm.
good. But we've really got to be regulating our nervous system in
Hmm.
order to show up and be the therapist we need to be for our clients and have a
Right.
quality of life for
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah. And if you've got financial stress, that is one of the biggest stressors of
It's
anybody's life. And so yeah, and so you talk about burnout, you will be burned out and you will resent what you do.
crispy,
Hmm.
crispy fried. In my book, I go deep into the money story because our money story follows us into life. And so often
Right.
we have not taken the time to understand why we feel what we feel. And it start we're encoding, we're watching our parents or our
Hmm.
caretakers. Uh,
Right.
yeah, and it's really important to know how that money story is impacting your
Right.
career.
Oh yeah.
And Lord help us if you're in that money crunch. That's a horrible place to be.
Right, right. Yeah. So, Julie, I know I've got to be respectful of your time and just thinking about, I know we could have this conversation all day long because I think it's just important stuff. Tell folks a little more about your book and also how they can get in touch with you and the different ways in which you are out there in the world.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gordon. I have a book on Amazon right now. It's called In Pursuit of Soul Joy, a 12-week guide for overcoming burnout and compassion fatigue. It's
Mhm.
specifically for us helpers.
Mhm.
And I'm on Instagram at Dr. Period Julie Merriman, and Facebook and YouTube. And I just got on TikTok because I wanted to see what all that was about.
Okay. Okay. Well,
And I'm on
great.
LinkedIn, but it's
Yeah.
all under Julie Merriman. So.
Right. Yeah. And we'll have links in the show notes and the show summary. I'm looking forward to watching some of your videos on YouTube. And
Well, I
so,
appreciate that.
yeah. So, and for folks that don't know, this podcast is also on YouTube. And so if you prefer to see the faces and that kind of thing, if you're just listening to it, that's available now for folks. So, but yeah.
How
So,
fun. That's
yeah.
great.
Right. Well, Julie, again, thanks for being on the podcast. And again, like I said, find her stuff in the show notes and show summary here, and hope to have another conversation here soon.
Yes, I'm so honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you.